All right, I'm going to do a little video showing how to replace one of these double valves without having to do any extra material. So this one is doing what these typically do, and that is it is tearing and it's leaking, and so it's going to have to be replaced. It's right here along the edge where it's kind of torn, and it's got a little hole right here. You can sometimes patch it, but the problem is that like using it is going to end up breaking it again. So in my experience, it's better to just go ahead and replace these things. So I'm actually going to use kind of a combination of some sharp crafting scissors and also some diagonal cutters. Just be careful not to put the pokey things around the vinyl. What I want to do is cut into this but leave the ring, because when I put this one on, I don't want to have to add any material. So I want it to sit kind of in the same footprint. So I'm going to cut into the side, and to be honest, like, I'll usually just quickly kind of get it out, and it makes it easier to actually get in there to be a little more precise. So I kind of cut it up a little bit higher to start with, just to get it out of the way and to open it up. All right, then the next pass, I'm gonna kind of try to trim it all the way down to the actual ring. So I'll kind of look from the side. And you know, if you're worried, just go slow, go a little bit at a time, because you can cut it, then you can check it, and you know, it's easier to just to go slow and than to have to spend more time later fixing it if you go fast and you cut too much. So I also use the diagonal cutters because they get nice and flush. There's some material in here as well. I think I'm going to try to trim some of that out, since I need to get the valve up inside the suit. This is going to be kind of in the way, so this is trimming out the actual factory material that they had kind of left in there. Obviously it wasn't in their way, the way they welded this thing on, but now it's kind of in my way to sneak a new valve up inside there. Use my diagonal cutters to just kind of make sure that I have removed all the kind of vertical pieces. I don't want to make my hole any bigger. I just want all the pieces that are kind of coming up to be trimmed. And before I glue it, let me stick this in one last time and kind of see how things are gonna come together. That looks pretty good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the glue on the ring, and then I'm gonna stick it in, and I'm gonna kind of pull it up, and then I'll probably leave the valve open, and I'll go through and just make sure it's really pushed in good. So let's give that a go. Actually, I guess I'll leave that open. So let's put, this is kind of a timed thing, because you don't want to give this any time to set up. You really want to get like a nice thick coating that's even all the way around. plenty. Alright, so now I'm going to start working this in. Mostly because I had a lot of glue on there. I added some, ran out of glue, added more. So the more you have, the longer it kind of takes the solvent to evaporate. But you also, you know, you want to have enough. You don't want to do too little, but you also don't want to do too much. There's kind of a happy medium. So right now, my goal is to keep pressure on this for the next few minutes. One of my crafters actually was showing me that they had printed a 3D jig for a few of the different valve sizes, which is a great idea. I'd like to get her to make me one too. Just kind of like a cup that's the right size, that kind of you can put pressure all the way around. So you don't have to do this like I'm doing. But honestly, like, this is good too. Like, you do kind of want to like put spot pressure to kind of work out bubbles. So this kind of technique is good, but also having a jig might be nice too. You can kind of do both. Like, start with working the glue into all the nooks and crannies and getting the bubbles out like this, and then once you get sick of it, you can put the jig down. But it's good to kind of make sure that there's some good pressure on this. I can even kind of put my hand up behind it. I just didn't really want to do that at first, because if glue squishes out, it's going to end up getting on the other layer. But now it's at least kind of set up a little bit, so I can push against that other layer, and it shouldn't try to stick as much. Now the cool thing is this is clear, so I can actually like look at the back side and see if it's sticking. I can see how well it's adhering, and if I can see bubbles, I can kind of, you know, put some more pressure to try to work it. Anyway, so do that for a few minutes, and then it should be ready to inflate. I actually recommend inflating it to about 75% right about now, because then the air pressure will continue to push. You just don't want to go to 100%. So like 75% will be enough to kind of give the air, have the air put some pressure on there, and then maybe after an hour you could go to 100%. And there you go.